was a moment when I realized having more things, more material things, wasn't gonna bring me more happiness, more fulfillment, more joy than what I was having at that specific moment. That totally shifted my perspective on things, because I understood that anything that you feel when you accomplish something, like you feel proud, you feel accomplished, you feel fulfilled, you feel super happy, excited, it's gonna vanish and become your new normal. For some people, achieving something that they dream about maybe only last for a few days, this accomplishment, this accomplished feeling, or this excitement and grateful feeling. Or even some people for some minutes or hours, and then after that they feel completely like baseline again. It does depend on the person, but eventually these things will become your new normal. So this totally shifted and completely transformed my perspective of how I see abundance and how I see happiness, which is not an external thing we are chasing, something we need to create and alchemize within ourselves, because whatever external that we are achieving, that feeling that we are seeking will only last as long as we are able to sustain it or integrate it. And if we are not very used to feeling these feelings anyway, without these external things, we are gonna have really a lot of struggle to sustain these feelings, and we will be seeking more and more and more things. Imagine COVID, for example. Before COVID, working would be going to the office 5 days a week, 9 to 5 schedule, whatever it is. But nowadays, working remotely or working hybridly, it's my case, working hybridly, is just like my normal life. And before, if you asked me when I was at uni, before COVID, I would have dreamed about working hybridly. I would have not imagined that this was even possible. But nowadays, it's just normal. It's just so taken for granted. Maybe at the beginning after COVID, it was like more like excitement still, but now it's just, if I were to apply for a job, I would just state that as my must-haves, the hybrid working environment. Is nothing really that I base my happiness on nowadays. It's like, of course, I have a gratitude mindset and I can count this as my blessing. I feel grateful because I have the opportunity to have this blessing in my life. But it's genuinely, if I'm genuine and honest with you, it's my new normal. My new normal for 4 years now that I work hybridly. So that's what I meant. It becomes your new normal. Like after COVID, you have like, oh, this is new normal. This is how we interact now. This is how work environments are. Then you like level up. That's why it's really important to count your blessings and to practice and nurture a gratitude mindset or a gratitude attitude towards life. Because you can take for granted many things that once they were your dreams, The things you take for granted, instead of I get to have a hybrid working environment, people may say I have a hybrid working environment, but just as super taken for granted. And I have to admit that it's a blessing that I have this. My company is so normalized in the engineering world, consultancy is so normalized, but I need to rewire my mindset and say, yes, it is a blessing, But as I said before, if you accomplish whatever it is, and that will make you happy for 1 day or 1 week or whatever, but if you are not very used to being happy in your life, that feeling of happiness will not be very happy within yourself, will not be very used to being within yourself, so it will vanish very, very soon. So to integrate these feelings when you are accomplishing things, these feelings need to feel like normalized within yourself. These are coming from external situations, and when you achieve them and you cannot integrate it within yourself because your body kind of rejects this feeling, it won't last very, very soon. So it all comes from within, If your baseline is feeling proud of yourself, when you accomplish something and you feel proud of yourself, that feeling will last longer. So in the end, abundance is a mentality, is a mindset. It's not having loads of different things. It is how you perceive reality, how you channel your life, your reality, how you perceive things, how you see things or experiences, situation, tasks. What do you gain from things, You focus on the negative, you focus on the things you hate, or you focus on the lessons, on the beauty, on the gifts, the good things that may happen from your situations. that's the key. That's how you know if you're having a lack mindset, focusing on these negatives, the things you hate, the things you don't like, or you're having a positive or abundant mindset which focus on beauty, on lessons, on growth, on the things you like, the positives in your life. And strangely enough, when you have a lack mindset, you have also abundance in there. Because abundance, to be honest, to completely honest and a bit philosophical here, is neither positive or negative, it's just universal. If you focus on the negatives, there will be an abundance of negatives for you. So if you focus on the bad things in your life or the things you hate about a relationship, about a job, or about a task, there will appear more reasons for you to give up this relationship, to give up this task, to hate your life. You'll start to notice that many more negative reasons will appear. So there is abundance in everywhere. Like in positive, if you focus on this, if you decide to focus and nurture this positive mindset or positive outlook in your life, or there is also abundance in lack, in negativity, in the things you don't like. It's all about where you put your focus, what you put your attention to. So it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. We actually assign abundance mentality with positive, beauty, good things, lessons, growth, but there is abundance in negative things, in suffering, in things you hate, if you decide to focus on those. Really, haven't you noticed that when you are doing a task, for example, and you start focusing on how long it's taking you to accomplish that task, how difficult it is, how bored you are, you start receiving more thoughts and emotions negative about that task, and you will be more likely to give up that task. It's all about that. It's just attention. It's just universal that there will be more of that, like an abundance of things, whether you focus on the good or whether you focus on the negatives. Let me give you an example. I recently gave my first TED talk, and this was a dream years ago. So that's why I feel grateful. I feel like this was a reward. I feel proud of myself. But during the stages and the phases for selection and also writing the script and stuff, some days when I was maybe tired or not very aware of my thinking, I could spiral on, oh, this is very difficult, this is taking so long, maybe they are not selecting me, whatever. But I focused on why I was having this thought. I actually, thanks to the awareness I had in one specific moment, I could stop this spiral and think in a bigger picture and thinking, okay, this is a dream I've always had. So I'm gonna just focus on the positives, the rewards, the benefits, the good things, the lessons I can gain from this, even if I don't get selected, wherever it is, all the lessons, all the positives. Maybe it is because I will be improving my videos later. Maybe it is that I will give the TED Talks and I will get more exposure. Whatever it is, your biggest why, your biggest positive about that, and I could move forward. I overcame this spiral of negative thinking because I chose to focus on the good, on the positives, on some lessons maybe I learned, on, I don't know, the experience in general. So by training your awareness and then deciding which kind of mindset you want to have, you can overcome these things. This tiredness, this boredom, it was my ego really. It wasn't my higher self or my true soul, dream of being a TEDx speaker. It was my ego thinking, oh, I'm bored, or this is hard, or whatever, or maybe they are not selecting you, whatever it is. So this is actually the problem I see with many people overcoming lack mindset and shifted to the abundance mindset, because they identify themselves with this ego voice, The ego is really useful. I'm not saying it's not useful, but if you are unhappy in your life, everything is making you unhappy, maybe the ego is not helping you out, You need to maybe level up, change the character, because the ego who is running the show in your life right now is not making the best decision. So if you really identify with the emotions of being maybe bored, maybe tired, whatever, but really deep down, soul level, you really want to do this TEDx talk, you don't identify yourself. You practice this awareness and detachment from these thoughts, and you don't identify yourself with these thoughts from the ego, from the comfort zone, because the ego really thrives or seeks comfort, like the known, not the unknown, you know? So whatever that is challenging or new is more like towards growth and towards truth, and the ego is not seeking that. So if you identify with your ego too much, well, if you're having a blessed, fantastic life and you love your life, please identify with your ego, because that's the right one. But if you're not feeling fulfilled and you want to achieve new things, wherever, maybe you need to start assessing which voice you are listening to, you know? Also, another thing that I see that's another reason related to this ego and seeking comfort is pain. Pain is actually, of course, it's not comfortable. The ego would say painful, you know? And if we actually reframe it, I mean, I'm not saying here you need to feel loads of pain. I'm saying calculated moments of pain, because you need to reframe pain as the portal to growth or portal to transformation. Because if you see pain or being a bit uncomfortable as something that is a proof or an evidence that you are growing, maybe new doors will open for you and you'll see new opportunities, new experiences, and you'll find a new normal, as I was saying. It's kind of the analogy of lifting weights. I think about that many times, to be honest. If you're with 2 kilos per arm, you know, and you wanna grow muscle and you go 3 kilos, you know, you don't go from 2 kilos to 10 kilos, you know, you will give up, you will feel, I don't know, you will injure yourself maybe, you will feel horrible, you will feel demotivated, you will not come back to the gym. This is not the way to go. You will feel super pain. No, it's little, gradual, slowly but steady, you know, growth. It's little but gradual steps into this pain, and befriending this pain as like the portal to growth, as just the little beginning, and then your body will adjust to this inertia, but you need this momentum, you need to start. You say, okay, I understood all you said, but I don't know where to start. So I would say practicing gratitude, that's a big one. I would say just rewiring your mind to see 3 to 5 things in your day that you can be grateful or happy about. Could be really small things like the sun is up today, or I had my favorite smoothie or breakfast this morning, whatever it is, or the shower time with music was amazing. Whatever it is, 3 to 5 things to start kind of focusing a bit more on the things that make you joyful, happy, you know, grateful in your life. Because maybe you are just in autopilot, you know, focusing on other things. So you need to consciously rewire for gratitude. Then another thing I would say, abundance language, you know. Instead of saying, I have to go to work, why don't you say, I get to work, you know? There are many people unemployed, or you could be unemployed. And I know maybe your job is not the best, or your job, you actually maybe hate it, whatever it is, but at least it gives you some benefits, some way or another. Maybe it gives you salary, maybe it gives you routine, maybe it gives you your best friend. Whatever it is, just reframe things, because what you think is not as a blessing for you, if you didn't have it, maybe it would be a dream for you to have a job if you were unemployed. So I get to go to the gym instead of I have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym because I have money to afford going to the gym. I have health to do some exercises and stuff, and I have some priorities and time management in place to help me take care of my body. What a blessing, or what a privilege, you know? And also I would say that realize in general that lack mindset or lack mentality isn't necessarily the truth. What you're saying, no, I lack this, I lack this, I lack money, I lack friends, I don't have interests, hobbies in life, is probably the lens you are looking your life with. I mean, I'm gonna say isn't necessary, because maybe in some cases it's really, really clear or really, really difficult not to see this lack, but most of the time is the lens you use to see your reality, because you choose to use this lens. So you will be perceiving more negativity, more things you hate, so then, as I said before, there will be more things you hate coming, you know? You're gonna perceive more and more things you don't like. So I don't think they are the most beneficial lens for you to use. So I would realize and may raise awareness on this idea that the lack you are perceiving kind of second guess your thoughts a bit. Don't believe everything you think or feel, to be honest, because this is filtered by the lens you use. So if this video makes something shift within yourself, write it in the comments and honor it, you know? Like, let me know which thing from this video you resonated with the most. I will really appreciate it. I will really appreciate any support. And please remember, abundance, just the final thought, abundance is not something we seek. It's something we choose to see. See you in my next video. Bye!